friends, welcome back to the Craft Castle. My name is Ashley and I'm back with a Cricut tutorial, and today we're going to be making a New Year's Eve themed banner, but not just any banner. We're going to incorporate some of this fringe gold background. I am thinking like a 1920s vibe with this. Now I know what you're saying. It's not even New Year's Eve yet, but we have to prep for our New Year's Eve celebrations. So we're going to learn how to make a party banner. That being said, I can tell you that making party banners of any kind is quite possibly the easiest thing you could do with your Cricut. So all we're going to need today, aside from your Cricut, you're going to need a little bit of glue. This right here is definitely an optional, but I think it's going to just make the banner something that you have never seen before. So some glitter fringe. You're also going to need to pick up some cardstock. I have cardstock from my cardstock warehouse. We're going to need some mirror gold and then also just plain black. Are you ready? This is going to be so cute and so easy. Let's go. Okay, the very first thing you want to do is open up a blank window in Cricut Design Space. So we're just going to come up here into New Project. Now, the beauty about the Cricut is that no matter what machine you are using, you can still follow along with this tutorial. The only thing that you need to keep in mind is like I'm going to be using my Cricut Explore Air 2, so mine says Explore. If you're using a Maker, a Joy, a Venture, you're going to want to click on the machine that you're using. Then everything else is all the same. Okay, so the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to insert a shape, and I'm going to insert let's do a square. Okay, I am just going to make this big just so we can see what we're doing. We'll resize this here in a second. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go back into shapes and I'm going to insert a triangle. Okay, so the width, let's just make this an even number for all of us. Let's click on this square and we're going to change this square over to 9 inches. Now let's go over into the triangle and I'm going to make the width of this 9 inches. Now generally when I do pennants for banners, I like making it look like this, where there is like a cutout that goes up like this. However, because I'm going to be doing glitter fringe, I want to kind of make that in reverse. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip this vertically and I'm going to put this down to the very bottom. Now here's the deal. Let's zoom out. If we put these two together, this right here is going to be one awfully long, funky looking pennant. So what I'm going to do is selecting just that triangle. I'm going to go down to this line right here, and do you see how now I have that up and down line? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make this a little bit shorter. So it's like a short, fat triangle. Okay, I like the look of that. So let's zoom in and we're gonna go close to this pennant right here. And it looks like it is not lined up. I mean, the corner is it's like minuscule, but it looks like it's not lined up. So I'm gonna select both those pieces and I'm gonna align it to the center. Okay, now they are connected. Now here's the deal. Let me change this triangle over to a different color just so we can see what we're doing. Okay. You're going to want to make sure that this triangle is connected to this square that we've created. If you were to select both of these, because we are going to be welding these together, if you select both of these, right click, let me go. I'm just going to go like this. If these two are not connected just like this, and you were to select both of these, right click, press combine and weld, do you see how there's still a gap right here? That means that you're still going to have two separate pieces. So you want to make sure that this piece right here is connected to your square. Let me just select both, align that horizontally. And it looks like I have a little bit of an overlap. Okay, so what you want to do is selecting both of those pieces, the square and the triangle, you want to right click, go combined, and then weld. And now it's very hard to see, but do you see how I have a gap right here? That means that I still have two separate pieces. So that means I still need to move my triangle up. Now, instead of moving the triangle and then pressing horizontal and stuff, what I'm going to do is go to this side right here, and you see how that arrow goes up and down? I'm just going to drag this up just a little bit, just like that. So I'm going to select everything again, right click, combine, and then weld. And there is our pennant. So let's zoom out. This is going to be what houses our letter for our beautiful banner that we're about ready to create. Okay, so I'm going to change this over to black. This is kind of like a charcoal gray. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to just change this over to black. Now, you can make these pennants any size that you want. Trust me. I am a former full-time party decoration maker over on Etsy with multi-bestseller badges, and there is not like a one size fits all. It's whatever you're feeling. So what I always like to do is put in the, did I change this to, I needed this to be black. Why did I change it to yellow? Let's change this to black. Okay, what I was saying is what I generally like to do is put in the amount of pennants that I'm going to need for whatever it is that I'm going to be using. So for me, I'm going to do 2024. So that is only 4 pennants. So we're going to copy and paste. So Command C and Command V, and there is 2. So I'm going to select both of these, copy and paste, and we're going to drag this over. Okay, just to make sure it looks like it's supposed to, I'm going to select everything and I'm going to align it to the top. So now everything is exactly the way it's supposed to be, nice and straight on the very top, because when we put our holes in, we're going to want our pennants to be nice and straight. Now selecting this, I can tell you right now that this size is going to be too big because the cardstock that I have is only 12 inches large. So what I'm going to do, the largest that the Cricuts can cut is 11.5. So let's just do 11.5. Now at 11.5, these are going to be fairly large pennants. 2024, that's huge. Okay, so let's go a little bit smaller than that. I at least want to fit 2 per sheet. Okay, the end height for these pennants is 7.7 inches, which is almost about 8, and that seems like pretty decent size of a pennant. The total length of this banner is going to be 22.5 inches. That seems to be like a fairly decent size banner. So I like the look of that. The beauty of making your own projects is you can make it any size that you want. I want to save on material, so I'm only going to do 2 on each page. Okay, now the fun part. So all you want to do is insert a text box, and you want to put in the text that you're using for your banner. For me, it's going to be 2024. I'm just going to click out of that and we're going to drag this down here. Now here is the hardest part of any project, and that is choosing your font. So we're going to come up here into the font. This box is going to pop up. You can just move this around. I am going to use like a thick, bold font for my project, and we'll do this one. What is this? Din Com. It's a Cricut Access font. I like that. Let's click out of it. That looks really good. Okay, this I want to change to like a yellow because we are using mirror gold for that. So let's come over here to this charcoal gray, and we're going to change it over to like a golden yellow. Okay, now what you want to do is you want to resize this inside your 1 pennant. So 1 number is going to equal 1 pennant. If you are saying Happy New Year, 1 letter is equal to 1 pennant. If your 1 number does not fit inside your pennant, then it's not going to fit in real life. So what I always like to do is right click and press ungroup. And then I like to drag my numbers over the top of my pennants, just like this. Do you see what I'm doing? And so in real life, this may look small on the screen, but in real life, when I cut this, it is going to look exactly like that. And you know, I actually really like that. So my numbers fit really well in my pennants. We've measured out what the pennants are going to look like, and they're fairly decently sized. I like the look of that. And that's it. That was the design process. This is your New Year's Eve banner. So before Cricut crashes on me, you always want to make sure and save. So let's just save our work. Okay, then we're going to go to make it. All right, you're going to want to make sure that your Cricut is turned on. If you sized your banner the same size as me, you're only going to need 2 pieces of plain black cardstock and then just like a half a sheet of the marigold cardstock. So let's go back over into the black, and then we're just going to press continue. Okay, taking 1 Cricut mat, you're just going to take 1 sheet of plain cardstock and put it on top of your mat, just like this. And then we're going to take this over to the Cricut. Okay, so you're going to want to load in your Cricut. The next thing you want to do is with plain cardstock, I always like to use the setting regular cardstock. And then going back over to the computer, I always like to cut on the fast cut mode. I have zero patience for crafts taking forever. Okay, now all you want to do is press your blinking C button. Okay, so for the marigold cardstock, I like to use the Cardstock Plus. So I'm going to come down here to my dial and change that over to Cardstock Plus. I'm still going to cut on the fast cut mode. Then press that button. All right, then you just want to eject. Okay, you just want to press done on your Cricut, and then we can start gluing this. Okay, if your cardstock is really stuck onto your mat, I always like to turn my mat over, and that just kind of flips the cardstock. There we go. Nice and easy, removes it. Okay, then what you want to do is taking all of your pennants. So I have all 4 of my pennants here. I'm going to line them up to the very top. This is my hole punch. I love it because you can put a whole bunch in there. So I'm going to line these up to the very top, and I'm going to put holes at the very top ends, just like this. So I got nice clean holes in all of my pennants. Okay, I'm going to be using double-sided stick tape for this project. I have to use it for this anyways. So since I'm using it for this, I'm going to use it for the letters too, or the numbers too. So I'm just going to take my very first one, and you don't need a whole lot of double-sided stick tape, just a little bit is fine. So I'm just going to take a little bit off. And paper is really truly meant to lay flat. So again, you don't need a whole lot of tape or glue. If you weren't using double-sided stick tape for this, I would probably use just like your regular plain cardstock glue. Now with this double-sided stick tape, it has like a paper layer over the top of it. I'm just gonna take that off. I'm using my weeding pick for this. It just helps so I don't have to like pick at it. Okay, taking one pennant. That looks good. So I'm just going to lay this down. Okay, grabbing the next number, you're going to do the same thing that we did with the number 2. Okay, this is our semi-finished banner. I love the look of it. And again, you could totally stop here if you wanted to and not even get that fringe, but I am going to take it one step further. So I'm going to set these to the side and open up this glitter fringe. I am only going to take the end off just like this. Okay, so I'm going to fan this out to be about the width of my pennant, and I want the fringe to be kind of long. So I'm just going to eyeball this. Okay, so at this little line right here, I'm going to put my double-sided stick tape, and I'm going to do it longer than my fringe. See how it's carried over here and here? Okay. Then what I'm going to do, lifting this up, whoop. Okay, my double-sided stick tape took just a layer of fringe. That's okay. We don't need it to take it all. And I am just going to take my scissors and cut at this length. Okay, so do you see what I did there? I put the double-sided stick tape. It's okay if you're losing fringe. I put the double-sided stick tape on there, created my length, cut it off, and this is what I'm left with. Something that looks like this. Okay, let's move this over to the side. Now I'm going to roll this over, and next thing we're going to do is take this part. We're going to peel off the paper from the back of our double-sided stick tape. Okay, then what we're going to do is lay this on the back of our pennant. Okay, I am going to just roll this over. Remember, we cut our tape long, which is fine because we're going to roll this back over, making sure it's not coming off. Do you see that? Oh my gosh, how stinking cute is this? Okay, now there's going to be like leftover stickies in places. So what I'm going to do is the pieces of sticky that fell off, let's just add some sticky on to it just to cover the stickiness so it doesn't go sticking everywhere. Okay, just cut some extra on hand, just to have on hand to re-stick all of this stuff, because I definitely don't want it to be overly sticky, so it sticks to like my wall. Stick it good in there, making sure everything is stuck on there. Okay, looks good. Turning this around, and that's what your fringed pennant looks like. Look at that. Isn't that so cute?
Okay, you just want to do that for all the rest of your pennants that you made. So I still have quite a bit of fringe left over, so you can definitely save that for another project. And this is what our banner, oops, see how I have like a little bit of carryover right here? It's small, but I don't really like it. I'm just gonna come back in with my scissors and trim off that fringe. I absolutely love the look of this. I love this so much. It is so cute. Now I'm gonna line these up. I love how all of this just has a little bit of movement to it. Oh